Hi guys, so today we are going to go over the law of cosines. So we're going to use the law of cosines if we're ever given measurements of a triangle and you don't have a pair, so like angle A and side A or something like that. So specifically, those are side triangles or side angle side, where we're given the angle that's like sandwiched in between the two sides. All right, so the law of cosines it kind of looks much more, actually, it definitely looks much more complicated than the law of sines. However, it's pretty straightforward in plugging it in. These are just the standard form and the alternative form is just kind of a switcheroo about the two forms. So like we can go from one form to another. So if I look at this alternative form, you could multiply by 2bc up here, and then you'd get that 2bc cosine A, and then you can add the a squared and subtract the 2bc, and you'd wind up with this standard form equation, okay? So we use the different forms based on which triangle we're given. So we're going to use this form where the cosine is isolated for side, and we're going to use this one where we have side angle side given, okay? So we've got the triangle, and it's ABC, and one of the hints is we want to start with the largest side angle combo. So in this case, my largest side angle combo is B. So because this is side, we're going to be using the alternative form, and because we want to start with the largest side angle combo, we're going to use this one because B is the largest. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that down. So cosine of B equals, and then a squared, so we're going to do 8 squared plus c squared, 14 squared, minus b squared minus 19 squared, all over 2 times a, which is 8, times c, which is 14. All right, so up here, pro tip says use parentheses around the numerator and the denominator. Okay, so when I'm typing this into my calculator, I want to make sure that I do that. All right, so first thing I'm going to do, parentheses, 8 squared plus 14 squared minus 19 squared, and I'm going to close those parentheses, divided by, in parentheses, 2 times 8 times 14. And I'm using the multiplication symbol, not the parentheses symbol in my calculator. All right, so I hit enter, and I get that cosine of B is equal to negative 0.45089. And I'm going to leave that value on my calculator, and I want to solve for B. So I want to get rid of cosine, so I'm going to do the inverse cosine to get rid of cosine. So once again, guys, just a reminder, double check that your calculator is in degree mode because we're trying to find the angles of a triangle. So I want to do second cosine, second, and then my answer, I fill that in to get the most accurate, and we're going to round to 1 decimal place. So I get angle B is equal to 116.8 degrees. All right, fantastic. Once I have what B is, I have 1 out of the 3 angles. I need to find the other 2 angles. So I have the pair B and B. I can either use the law of cosines, or now that I have the pair, I can use the law of sines. So I can do 19 over sine of my pair that matches with it, 116.8, okay, equals, and now I want to go to the smallest side, so 8 over sine of A. All right, guys, so just be careful with this. Make sure you're using the correct trig form when you're switching. So we did cosine at first, now we're into sine. So we cross multiply, so I do 8 sine of 116.8 divided by 19, and I get sine of A is equal to, and it's 0.3758. Okay, and I want to undo that sine, so I'm going to do sine inverse. And I'm going to do second sine of my answer. And I want to round to 1 decimal place. So I get angle A is equal to 22.1 degrees. Okay, so now I have 2 out of the 3. I know a triangle needs to add up to 180. So once I have 2 out of the 3, I'm going to do 180 minus 22.1 minus 116.8 because I want it to all total to be 180. So I get angle C is equal to 41.1 degrees. Okay. So that is my final answer for these 3 angles. All right, so same idea with the next one, except for we're just not given a picture. So we want to find the angle measurements of the given triangle. So I'm given side, side, side. So I check it out and I see which one's my biggest. So I want to start out with C. So I'm going to go up here. And now because it is C that's the biggest, now I'm going to use that one. Okay, because C is the biggest this time. So we're going to do cosine of C equals, and then it was A squared plus B squared minus C squared. So A squared, 55 squared, plus B squared, 25 squared. Oh, I have a feeling I'm going to run out of room. Minus C squared, 72 squared, all over 2 times A times B. So 2 times 55 times 25. Okay. So now once again, reminder, we're using parentheses around that numerator. So we've got 55 squared plus 25 squared minus 72 squared divided by, in parentheses, 2 times 55 times 25. And we're using those multiplication symbols inside the denominator parentheses. Close that parenthesis, hit enter, and we get cosine of C is equal to negative 0.5578. Okay, so we want to undo cosine next, so we're going to do cosine inverse. Cosine inverse of both sides. All right, and we do second cosine, second answer. So we have the most accurate, and once again, reminder, we're rounding to 1 decimal place. So C equals, I changed the color blue there, 123.9 degrees. Okay, so we now have angle C. So now we have the pair C and C. So we can now scoot on over and do law of sines. So 72 over sine of 123.9 degrees. And then I go to the smaller of the sides, 25 over sine of B. Okay, so cross multiply, 25 sine of 123.9, and then we divide that by 72. So we get sine of B equals 0.288, 288. And now we're going to do sine inverse to get rid of sine. So we do second sign, second answer. And we're rounding to 1 decimal place, reminder. So it's going to be B equals 16.8 degrees. Because it was 16.75. So if we round to 1 decimal place, 16.8. All right, so now I have 2 out of the 3 angles for the triangles. So for the third, I'm going to do 180 minus 16.8 minus 123.9. And I get 39.3. So my final angle is angle A, which is 39.3 degrees. All right, so those are the 3. So I want you guys to try these next 2, one where you have the actual figure of the triangle given and one where you don't. Just be mindful of which angle you're starting with solving. All right, and we'll pick up here after the your turn.